Good evening. This lecture we're going to discuss social media, and we'll cover the origins of social networking, revenue strategies for social media, and go into some detail on auctions. Let's just consider Starbucks as an example of a company that successfully uses social media. They view social media as an extension of the customer relationship. They integrate mobile technology by accepting payments from mobile phones. They also provide a mobile device app to let customers manage their loyalty program benefits. And they serve as a social media observer rather than actively advertising over their social media accounts. So let's look at the origins of social networks. First, an online web community is not limited by geography. Individuals and companies with common interests meet online and discuss issues, share information, generate ideas, and develop valuable relationships. Companies make money by serving as relationship facilitators. They combine the Internet's transaction cost reduction potential with a communication facilitator role. A virtual community is a gathering place for people and businesses with no physical existence. It began online even before the internet was in use. They had bulletin board systems, BBSs, that allowed users to connect via phone lines to read and post messages. Back then, they were mostly free, but some charged a fee. Usenet news groups were message posting areas and a set of interconnected computers devoted to storing information on specific topics. Substantial social interaction with communication and relationships was one of the features of these virtual communities, and they offered virtually something that was similar to the physical communities, and that they did have that communication, development of relationships, and social interaction. One of the early web communities was WELL, the Whole Earth Electronic Link, and that was established in 1985. It was bought by Salon.com in 1999 and continues to operate as a monthly subscription service. In 1995, the Beverly Hills Internet Virtual Community site went online, and they offered webcams, free website space, and links. It grew into GeoCities and was purchased by Yahoo in 1999 for $5 billion, but it was closed down in 2009. Between 1995 and 2001, other companies offered similar advertising-supported virtual communities. These early communities evolved into social networking sites that emerged in the late 1990s. So social networking emerged as the internet and web grew many communities. Those communities found their value as a place to share online communication had begun to fade. Instead of a single bond of using the internet, users instead focused on common interests for interaction. Social networking sites allowed individuals to create and publish a profile and a list of other users with whom they share a connection. They can control this list and monitor similar lists made by other users. Early social networking sites included 6 Degrees in 1997, Friendster in 2002, Tribe.net, and MySpace. Facebook emerged in 2006 and overtook MySpace as the leading social network site that's worldwide. More than 1 billion users are on Facebook, and it has $6 billion annually in revenues. Other sites include Google Plus, Gree, Gree, which is in Japan, and Renren and QQ, which are in China. LinkedIn is another such social networking site dedicated to facilitating business contacts. And of course, there's Twitter that allows users to send short messages called tweets to other users who sign up to follow their messages. The basic idea behind many social networking sites is that people are invited to join by existing members. The site provides a directory, and communication does not occur until intended recipients approve the contact. Some social networks focus around specific interests or capabilities, and examples of this would be Pinterest, Flickr, Instagram, Snapchat, and Cafe Mom. The social networking sites expanded into all corners of the world, with successful sites in local languages emerging in many different countries. Blogs, or weblogs, and microblogs and participatory journalism are another form of social networking. Blogs are websites containing individual commentary on current events or specific issues. And again, they're a form of social networking site. Twitter is a very informal microblog with tweets limited to 140 characters. Early blogs focused on technology topics or topics on which people had strong beliefs. The 2004 election saw blogs as a potential political networking tool. It was used to communicate messages, organize volunteers, raise money, and coordinate meetups. Based on the success of social media, retailers began to embrace blogs to engage customers not ready to buy. Marketing and supply managers saw the networking benefits of enhancing business-to-business relationships through social media. Participatory journalism is the trend towards having readers help write their own news. Blogs can become businesses in themselves, but they have to generate financial support either through subscription fees or advertising. Mobile social networks can be location aware. Traveling internet connection opens up social media possibilities that integrate with a user's specific location. Mobile devices transmit their location to websites. Sites use location information to provide customized advertising and other services. In 2015, about 35% of social media users tagged their post with location information, and 82% of mobile users obtained directions and other location information. Examples here are Foursquare, Facebook, and Google+. And of course, you have to opt in and allow your location information to be recorded in social media like Twitter or Facebook. Businesses are using social networking as well. Business has been criticized for turning social media interactions into thinly disguised advertising. The experts agree that social media should be managed differently than advertising efforts. Managed effectively, social media engagement can provide much more information about customers. Brooks Running contributes to social media discussions dedicated to fitness and does not sell products directly. Campbell's Soup discussion areas focus on what soup can do for the family. And here we see a timeline of social networking websites and when they came online. And of course, major ones were not the first responders. They came in and fixed what was going on, like Facebook in 2004 and Twitter in 2006. So the first entrants into the market were the trailblazers, and there was a lot of lessons learned from that, and that enabled Facebook and Twitter to really refine the social networking software and make it very effective. Here we see social networking sites around the world in this map. China, we've got QQ, RenRen, Japan, Gree. In Russia, we've got Facebook. In Taiwan, Facebook and Twitter. In Iran, Klub. In Israel, Viber. Europe's got Facebook and Twitter. United States and North America, Facebook and Twitter. Brazil, the same. Here's social media strategies for business, the different type of social media, social networking sites, blogs, microblogs, and location-aware mobile social networks, and how they might go about conveying information to customers, receive information from customers, and facilitate and monitor communication among customers. Craigslist, let's continue on the business uses of social networking and look at some social shopping sites. Craigslist started as an information resource for San Francisco residents. It expanded to other cities and several other countries and operated as a not-for-profit foundation with all the postings other than help wanted ads free. Etsy is a place to buy and sell handmade items, and Poshmark is devoted to women's clothing and fashion accessories and optimized for mobile phone users. Social networking sites form communities based on connections among people. Abstract communities are based on the connections around ideas, and these are called idea-based social media. People who participate are engaging in idea-based social media. There's also a site called Delicious that calls itself a social bookmarks manager. We've been using a virtual learning tool. Distance learning platforms for student instructor interaction, such as Blackboard and Sakai, are part of the virtual learning networks. Tools include bulletin boards, chat rooms, drawing boards. A new phenomenon became widely known in 2012 and its massive open online courses with the formation of Coursera and Udacity. Many schools are launching these MOOCs or using them in some way, but there is a problem with low completion rates, in some cases less than 2%. So some of the revenue models for social networking sites will be discussed next. In the late 1990s, revenue was created by selling advertising, and that's how virtual communities, search engine sites, and web directories made their money at that time. In 1998, there was a wave of purchases and mergers, and new sites used advertising-only revenue models, and they included features offered by virtual community sites, including search engines, web directories, and other information providing and entertainment sites. The web portal goal is every user's to become every web user's doorway to the web. And here we see some popular websites, and you could say portals. This is a gateway into the web. Google, Facebook, YouTube, Yahoo, Amazon, Wikipedia. So let's look a little bit deeper into some of these revenue models and spend a little bit more time on advertising-supported social networking sites. Visitors spend more time at portal sites than other type of websites, and that's attractive to advertisers. Other types of social networking sites also draw visitors who spend considerable time at the site. These are smaller sites with specialized appeal, and they can draw enough visitors to generate significant advertising revenue. We have mixed revenue and fee-for-service social networking sites. Most social networking sites use advertising, but some charge a fee for some of their services. Examples are Yahoo All-Star Games Package and Yahoo Premium Email Service. Monetizing is converting site visitors into fee-paying subscribers or purchasers of other services. One concern is a visitor backlash, especially if they were used to that service as free in the past. Examples of sites that used a mixed revenue model are the financial information sites The Motley Fool and TheStreet.com. You also have fee-based social networking. Google Answers site was an early attempt to monetize social networking by charging a fee for a specific service. Questions were answered for a fee, and this site was in operation from 2002 to 2006. Similar free services such as Yahoo Answers, Amazon's Askville, generated advertising revenue. uClue is a site where paid researchers earn 75% of the total fee paid to the site. Advocates claim better quality of questions and answers at a site like uClue. Both approaches show how websites can generate revenue by providing virtual community interaction. Microlending is another thing that's occurring on the web today. And microlending sites function as a clearinghouse for microlending activity. Microlending is lending small amounts of money to people starting or operating small businesses, and this is especially prevalent in developing countries. Key elements are working within a social network of borrowers who support each other, and an element of pressure to repay. Examples include Kiva and Microplace. Business startups in prosperous economies are now using this technique. Crowdfunding sites. Small businesses can sell partial ownership in ventures to investors around the world. Indiegogo and Kickstarter are examples of such businesses. Crowdfunding sites rely on many people investing a small amount. It reduces risk to individual investors while providing substantial equity for new ventures. Reward-based crowdfunding investors pay in advance for products and services to be delivered after they are made with the money, with the resources obtained from the invested funds. Reward-based crowdfunding is often used by artists and charitable organizations to help complete a specific project. In addition, there's also internal social networking, and the revenue model for that one, of course, is the corporate budget. These provide social interaction among the organization's employees. They also include important information for employees. They're run on the organization's intranet. They save money by replacing printed distribution of this information. They provide easy access to employee information, and they're good for geographically dispersed employees. Many companies are now adding wireless connectivity for employees who are traveling to connect with the internal social network. So here we see worldwide social network spending for the recent years, and it's steadily climbed from 2013 in North America. It's now over 3 times as much spent in 2017 as there was in 2013. In the Middle East and Africa, it's over 4 times the amount spent. So let's look at some of the social media devices in the mobile arena. Mobile commerce uses things like short messaging service, and it's usually called texting, and it allows messages to be sent to mobile phone users. The United States made a lot of developments allowing phones to be used as web browsers in the 2007-2008 time frame, so that mobile phones became part of a high-speed network, and manufacturers of smartphones offered web browsers. They offered increasingly large screens and the ability to run applications. And with that, we had the potential for mobile commerce. Internet-capable phones first caught on in Japan and Southeast Asia. Telecommunication companies there offered high-capacity mobile phone networks before they were available in the United States. Japan's largest phone company, NTT, was a pioneer in mobile commerce in 2000. In the US, the introduction of smartphones and high-capacity networks began appearing in 2008, but they did offer the use of web browsers as part of that. Apple iPhone and Android phones opened the door for serious US mobile commerce for the first time. Tablet devices are smaller than laptop computers and larger than phones. They connect to the internet wirelessly through a phone carrier service or local network. Phablets, P-H-A-B-L-E-T-S, are large phones with high-resolution screens. By 2015, more tablets were sold than personal computers. The Wireless Application Protocol, or WAP, allows HTML web pages to be displayed on small screen devices. For now, touchscreen controls are prevalent. There's been a number of different mobile operating systems. Apple and BlackBerry use a proprietary operating system, and HTC, Motorola, and Samsung once created their own operating systems and software applications, but now they use a standard operating system provided by a third party, such as Android and Windows Phone. Google's Android is the most popular and fastest growing third-party open source operating system. Modifying an operating system generally voids the warranty on the phone, and this is known as jailbreaking on Apple iPhones and rooting on Androids. Mobile applications are important for mobile commerce. Today, most mobile phones use a common operating system due to a change in the way software applications are developed and sold. The Apple Store and the Apple App Store and Google Play sell applications. Some are developed and sold by independent software developers under a revenue sharing agreement. Some apps provide a gateway to the company's website, and some are sold for a small fee. Most sell for $1 to $5, and they can include things like games, puzzles, productivity tools, and reference works. Some media sites offer free access to online content through their apps, while others sell subscriptions. Some mobile apps include advertising in their revenue model. Mobile devices are now used for banking and financial services, and hospitals and clinics are providing apps to give doctors information for treating patients. The phone's Global Positioning Satellite Service, or GPS, capabilities create mobile business opportunities. Mobile wallets are mobile phones that function as credit cards, and they've been available since 2004 in Japan. Other countries have seen significant adoptions of mobile phone apps that make payments. A widespread credit card use in the US has limited the popularity of mobile device payment apps. In 2013, use of Google Wallet began to increase, and in 2015, Starbucks attributed growth to users and customers using its Order and Pay mobile app. So here we see a bar chart of actual and projected sales of personal computers, tablet devices, and mobile phones. And you can see that tablet devices now sell more than have more units sold than personal computers. And of course, mobile phones have many more devices sold. And here's a variety of different mobile devices, including smartphones, tablets, and phablets. Let's go into social media auctions. This is a very popular type of site on the web, and it's classified as a social media site. Online auctions are a perfect business opportunity for the web. Auction sites charge both buyers and sellers to participate, and they also sell advertising. This is targeted advertising according to the opportunities that are available, and that's the kind that most advertisers like, so you can put ads on the auctions that are being sold that are relevant to people with interest in the type of item being auctioned. Online auctions capitalize on the internet's strength, which are two things: create a natural social network, and to bring people together who are geographically dispersed but share a common interest. Some of the basics of auctions, they date from 5000 BC in Babylon. They're a common activity in 17th century England. A seller offers an item for sale and provides information to potential buyers, but does not establish a price. Potential buyers or bidders offer the price they're willing to pay. These are the bids. An auctioneer manages the auction process. One thing you have to watch out for are shill bidders who make bids on behalf of the seller to artificially inflate the price. In an English auction, bidders publicly announce successively higher bids until no higher bid is forthcoming. The item is sold to the highest bidder. It's also called ascending price auction, open auction, or open outcry auctions, as bids are publicly announced. There's a minimum bid, and that's the beginning price. If no bidders are willing to pay that minimum, then the item is not sold. A variant is the Yankee auction that offers multiple units of an item for sale and allows bidders to specify a desired quantity. The highest bidder is allotted their bid quantity, and the remaining items are allocated to the next highest bidders until all items are distributed. All the bidders pay the lowest successful bidder price. There's drawbacks for both buyers and sellers. The winning bidders tend not to bid their full private valuation, so the seller does not obtain the maximum price. Bidders risk getting caught up in the excitement and bidding more than they would in a private valuation, and this is known as the winner's curse. Dutch auctions are different from English auctions. They're a form of open auction where bidding starts at a high price and drops until the bidder accepts a price. It's also called a descending price auction. The seller offers a number of similar items for sale. A common implementation is to use a clock, and the price drops with each tick. The first bidders to stop the clock become the winning bidders. If items remain, then the clock is restarted. This is often better for the seller because the buyer will not let the bid drop much below their valuation of the product for fear of losing it. There's also a first price sealed bid auction and a second price sealed bid auction. With sealed bid auctions, bidders submit bids independently. A first price sealed bid auction, the highest bidder wins. If multiple items are auctioned, the next highest bidders are awarded remaining items at their bid price. The second price sealed bid auction is similar to the first price sealed bid auction, except that the highest bidder awarded an item is awarded it at the second highest bidder price. This second price sealed bid auction is commonly called a Vickrey auction. Yields higher seller returns and encourages bidders to bid private valuation amounts that are more reasonable, reduces the tendency for bidder collusion. We also have an open outcry double auction. An open outcry double auction, the buy and sell offers are shouted by traders in a trading pit. Each commodity, stock, option, or other item is traded in its own pit, which can become quite frenzied. The double auction buyer and sellers each submit combined price quantity bids to an auctioneer. And that can be through sealed bid or open outcry. The auctioneer matches offers, starting with the lowest seller's offer and the highest buyer's offer. This is the technique that has been used historically on the New York Stock Exchange and is now mostly done through an electronic system. Reverse or seller bid auctions. Here, multiple sellers submit price bids to an auctioneer who represents a single buyer. Bids for a specific amount of the item to purchase can be submitted, and prices go up or prices go down as the bidding continues until no seller is willing to bid lower. Most involve businesses on both ends of the transaction, both as the buyer and the seller. So the prices start at a high point and they go down, and bidding will continue until no seller is willing to bid a lower price. In many businesses, reverse auctions are where the buyer acts as an auctioneer and screens sellers before they can participate. Online auctions and related businesses. Online auction business is rapidly changing. There's three auction website categories: general consumer auctions, specialty consumer auctions, and business-to-business auctions. General consumer auctions. eBay is the most successful consumer auction website. Registration is required, there's fees to the seller, and there's a rating system. There's a seller's risk in this, in that the buyer uses a stolen credit card or the buyer fails to conclude the transaction. There's a buyer's risk as well. There's no item delivery or the item is misrepresented. Obviously, that's going to affect a person's rating. The most common format on eBay is the English auction. The seller may set a reserve price. In other words, they won't sell it if they don't get that amount. The bids are continually updated and the high bid amount is displayed. You also have the option of a private auction with eBay. An eBay private auction site does not identify the bidders. eBay only notifies the seller and the highest bidder. eBay also has a what they call a Dutch auction, but that is what the book calls a Yankee auction, which is a variant of the English auction. There's something known as the minimum bid increment, and that's the amount by which one bid must exceed the previous bid. eBay stores allow sellers to show sale and auction items as a way to generate additional profits. So in general consumer auctions, there's what's known as the lock-in effect. The economic structures of the existing online markets is biased against new sites attempting to offer those services. Markets become more efficient as the number of buyers and sellers increase. So new auction participants are more likely to patronize established sites like eBay. That's the lock-in effect. So if you're trying to establish a competitor to eBay, you're not going to have the volume of buyers and sellers, and that's an attractive feature. eBay is dominant in the United States, but Yahoo was the first major online auction site in Japan, and it still holds more than 90% of that market. In Japan, eBay maintains a very low market share, less than 5%. Specialty consumer auctions, consumer reverse auctions, some firms identified special interest markets. They created specialized web auction sites to meet the needs of that market segment. Priceline.com is seen as a seller bid auction site. It completes many transactions from inventory that it purchases from airlines, car rental agencies, and hotels. You also have group shopping and coupon sites. With group purchasing or group shopping sites, the seller posts an item with a tentative price. Buyers enter bids to buy one unit, and the site negotiates with the seller for a lower price. It works well for reputable, non-perishable branded products, but sellers are not always interested in that kind of site. One of the fears they have is cannibalizing their other sales. Some of the successful sites that offer group shopping and coupon sites is a Groupon, a Living Social, and Gilt, G-I-L-T. Business-to-business auctions evolved to meet specific existing needs, such as disposing of excess inventory. Liquidation specialists and liquidation brokers are firms that find buyers for items. Online auctions are logical extensions to this. You have a large company model, and that's where the business creates its own auction site to sell off excess inventory. You also have the small company model, and they often are third-party web auction sites that take the place of a liquidation broker. You have a third model, and that resembles the consumer online auction models we just talked about. Businesses also use these B2B auctions to fill temporary employment openings. Many electronic marketplaces that conduct business-to-business transactions include reverse auctions. Owings Corning has reduced purchasing cost for reverse auction purchases by an average of 10%. Reverse auctions cause suppliers to compete on price alone, and of course that can impact quality, but it may be useful for commodity items. It does replace trusting relationships with between buyers and sellers with a bidding, more impersonal basis. Large and powerful suppliers in some industries refuse to participate, which undermines the auctions. It can be efficient when high competition does exist in an industry. Auction escrow services. Buyers often have a concern about the reliability of the seller, and so when they purchase high value items, an escrow service can be used to protect the buyer's interest. An independent party holds payment until the buyer receives the item and is satisfied with it. Some escrow services take delivery and perform the inspection. A fee is charged, and sometimes that fee can make the service a little too expensive for many items that are sold. Bidders in low price auctions should check the seller's record, their rating on the auction site and other sites. And then we have an auction directory and information services. E-commerce Bytes publishes articles about auction industry developments and provides guidance to new participants. PriceWatch lists the current selling prices for computer hardware, software, and electronics to help with bidding strategies. And companies such as AuctionHawk and Vendio sell auction management software for buyers and sellers. And this helps the seller manage auctions and automate tasks. And here we see the key characteristics in this graph or this chart of 7 major auction types: English, Dutch, first price sealed bid, the VICRE, the double auction, open outcry, the double auction sealed bid, and the reverse auction, and the key characteristics of each. Here we see some of the supply chain characteristics that would support reverse auctions, like Owings Corning was able to successfully use to reduce its costs by 10%. On the other hand, we also see supply chain characteristics that discourage reverse auctions. If the product is highly complex, has many changes in design, product has customized features, switching costs are high to go to another vendor, you have long-term strategic relationships are important to both buyers and sellers. So that concludes our lecture for tonight. See you on the forums.